What is going on, you kayak freaks? It's your boy Johnny. We're out here, Connecticut. We got the fall colors behind us. Doing something a little bit different today. We got a couple paddles here. We got the Stellar S18. You've seen it. Alright, our boys from Epic sent us a couple paddles here today. So I went out today just for the purpose of testing these. Trying to get away from you already. So we got two wing paddles here. A mid-twist and a mid-wing, both full carbon. Epic sent them to me to try them out. I'm using these pretty much just for endurance paddling. Don't really plan to use it for anything besides that. Obviously I do a lot of touring, but you know, during the winter months, maybe you want to do some fitness training. And look at these collars, man. Fall as fell. Check it out. But you don't like your subscribe. It's fine. It'll just be another normal day of paddling. Alright, so I paddled the mid-wing first. It was a 205, but it's slightly adjustable, so I actually found out I ran it a little bit longer, like 207 or something like that. Anywho, it's definitely a paddle that needs power behind it. It's definitely a paddle that, you know, you need to be maintaining speed to use, and your technique's got to be pretty good to use it also. It's just a little bit different from your normal stroke. And in slower cruising speeds, I find that like pushing out with the blade a little bit tends to help kind of keep the boat in cruise mode without getting too squirrely or feeling like the paddle's not catching correctly. At medium to higher speeds, seemed like it worked well. You definitely want to make sure your paddle stroke is correct. Like I say, your top hand kind of coming across the chest, and core rotation also. That's definitely going to help with a paddle of this nature. So I got 2 miles in. I'm going to turn around and paddle back with the twist. So let's see how that goes. Alright, so that was a decent first impression. So I did a couple miles with each one. I'm going to head back and go back with the mid again. I have to say, it's definitely a different paddle style than I'm used to. But I'm a strong paddler. I felt like it felt good. It gave me a little bit of a different edge on another stroke. It's definitely somebody that wants a performance paddle. Somebody that might want to turn their S18 into like a multi-sport. Racers, people that race use these obviously. Touring, I don't know if I would pick this paddle for touring. Unless I wanted to get somewhere real fast. But yeah, generally out of the box, I feel like they're pretty easy to use. They're definitely well crafted. Full carbon, so they're pretty light. I'll post the Suunto map download on here so you can kind of see my route. And I'll also post some times which paddle I think was actually a little faster. They're pretty close right off the bat. I mean, it's hard to tell when you're out there. I can kind of glance at my watch and see, how fast I'm going. So I'm hitting 6. It's not bad. Cruise speeds, 4.5, normal. I don't know if you put this up against, I should have brought like a regular Euroblade out just to see if that made any difference, because sometimes they do. I put it up against my Lendl Storm and see which one I'm actually getting time with. It's hard to tell. At first I paddled with the mid, then I paddled with the twist. And I thought I liked the twist just a little bit better, maybe just because of the way I don't know how my paddling is. Both seem pretty efficient and pretty fast, so I'm going to run the mid on the way back, and we'll see how that feels going back to the first one again and see if I like the first or the second. Who knows?
To wrap it up here, final notes. Well, I mean, that was cool. That was something I don't do every day, It's never like a type of paddle that I always have laying around, so it was cool to just go and experience it. One thing I did notice is the blades of the paddle, since they are light, but they're not as buoyant as like a foam core blade that like floats. You'll notice if you put the paddle in the water, it actually sinks down a little bit. I mean, the shaft floats, but other than that, I felt like the mid might have actually been too much for this boat anyway. Maybe if I had like a bigger surf ski, that might be something that would push it and move it a little fast. I felt like I wasn't using the paddle to its full potential. You know, that it was actually for like a much larger boat. And that the mid twist, which I actually think has a small blade, is probably actually the best bet for me. So, I mean, that's my 2 cents. If you want my 3 cents, it'll cost you 5 cents. Anywho, look at that background. Unbelievable. Check you later. Like and subscribe, will you?